I thought I'd just seen a light down on the path. I'm telling you, I think there's fucking people. Look, hurry up, just grab that, get in. Look at that.
Nature is beautiful right up until the moment it tries to take you out. From a spearfisher staring down the rows of teeth of a lunging shark, to a biker stumbling upon a bizarre exposed human encounter deep on a remote trail, the unexpected is always watching. When your survival instinct kicks in, do you trust it, or do you wait to see what happens next? An experienced big game hunter was exploring the backcountry near Nordegg, Alberta, Canada, setting out on what was supposed to be a routine trip through land he knew well. Skilled at reading tracks and understanding wildlife patterns, nothing initially suggested this outing would be any different from the many before it. Far into a remote section of forest, he discovered a large structure built from logs and branches. It looked deliberately assembled and clearly out of place in the natural surroundings. The formation didn't match normal treefall patterns or resemble any typical hunting blind, immediately raising questions about who or what could have constructed it so deep in the wilderness. Rather than disturb the area, the hunter placed a trail camera nearby and headed back to camp. A few hours later, his phone notified him that the camera had captured movement. What showed up in the image was both unexpected and unsettling. The complete footage provides no definitive explanation. What drew something to that structure, and how long had it existed before being found? The figure recorded on camera may offer a clue as to why the structure was there in the first place. Do you believe it was created for wildlife or for someone intending to return? In October 2023, as storm clouds rolled over Kinglake National Park in Australia, a solo camper arrived after work expecting a peaceful overnight break. The drive-in was uneventful, and her plan was simple: set up the rooftop tent, cook dinner, and sleep beneath the trees. Nothing about the trip hinted that anything would feel unusual. She chose Campsite 9, which had a fire pit and picnic table, but immediately sensed something wasn't right.
It's a bit overcast. There is going to be a storm coming. Heading to Kinglake for one night. I tried to get a booking for tomorrow night, but they were all booked out. I am Campsite 9. So I can put that up there. Whoever wants to check that.
Even though the campground was listed as fully booked, every site around her sat completely empty. There were no cars, no voices, and no signs of movement anywhere nearby.
Before it starts to piss down with rain, I'm just going to get changed quickly. That was so easy to set up, oh my god. Then to always keep your keys on you and press the alarm button for your car in case something happens, just to deter people. I'm freaking myself out now.
She hurried to set up camp as rain began falling, trying to push aside the growing tension in her chest. Once night settled in, the silence became overwhelming. There was no wind, no insects, no distant traffic, just a dense, unnatural stillness that made the forest feel wrong. She checked the reservation system again. 10 campsites still showed as booked, yet no one arrived. Alone in the darkness, her thoughts began racing. Every faint noise felt imagined or worse, delayed. She kept her keys in hand, ready to trigger the car alarm if needed. Nothing happened, and somehow that made it worse.
Well, now it's starting to spit, but maybe people have changed their mind, or maybe they've booked some campsites out, I don't know.
Anxiety slowly took control. Certain that staying might be a decision she'd regret, she packed up and drove into the storm, heart pounding as she left the deserted campground behind. The empty sites could have been due to last-minute cancellations or weather changes. Do you think leaving was the right choice, or would you have stayed the night? Bear is the creator of the YouTube channel Exploring with Bear, where he records trips to sites connected to unexplained activity. In a video released on December 5, 2025, he blends historical research with real-time exploration, guiding viewers through abandoned locations and places rumored to carry lingering energy. But on one winter night, Bear and his friend Bee experienced something far more unsettling than any ghost narrative. On a freezing, snow-covered evening, they arrived at a remote location locals call the Haunted Forest. The mood felt tense immediately, not just because of its reputation, but due to a persistent feeling of being watched.
We are currently in the Haunted Forest. We just got here. It just started snowing. But right when we started walking up the trail, this car was going super slow. And it pulled in and turned the lights off, and it's been sitting there for a minute. It's a little suspicious. Anyway, this place has crazy activity in it, from voices to shadow figures to little kids' voices. So there is a cemetery tucked away back in here, where I've also found some crazy things, and like some kind of hooded figure one night. It was crazy, man. I injured myself running that night. So I will be running the K2 once we get in the cemetery. Not only that, B's got the thermal camera hooked up to his phone.
We got 2 little pocket knives.
2 little pocket knives.
And our muscles.
So that didn't make B feel any better either.
As they started up the trail, a vehicle appeared behind them, moving unusually slow before stopping and turning off its headlights. The silence that followed, broken only by falling snow, instantly shifted the tone of the night. The forest had long been associated with reports of strange voices, shadow-like figures, and unexplained sounds. Bear remembered a previous visit to a hidden cemetery nearby, where he once encountered a hooded figure and ran in fear, injuring himself. Equipped with basic tools including a K2 meter a thermal camera and small knives, they continued deeper into the woods despite rising unease.
Man, we'll be able to see.
Okay, see, I got the camera right there.
Oh, yeah.
And see? See, that's the trail we're walking on.
Yeah, it's still a little warm. Okay, it's refreshing. Getting a read. Ooh, is that little spots? Look, there's a little spot right down there. Right back there. Eyeballs. Okay.
Dude, look how the path lights up. Isn't that crazy?
That is cool.
Why does the path light up?
What?
There's something.
Put it in front of the camera. What'd you see?
I went too fast. Something.
Ooh.
There's something up there. Something's moving up there.
Do you hear that sound?
Yeah, something's moving.
I keep hearing crap. Man, this place is so spooky at night. What is that noise, man? That is really close. And where they came from, the direction is a dead end. You know what I mean? Yeah, that means they were sitting way down there for a while and then seen us turn their lights off and pulled in across behind us.
As they advanced along the trail, the thermal camera displayed unusual heat signatures on the ground and brief distortions that hinted at unseen movement. The earlier presence of the suspicious car lingered in their minds, making the situation feel less accidental and more like deliberate surveillance. They moved toward the old cemetery, a place Bear connected to an earlier disturbing discovery, resembling human remains near a worn grave.
So, there was like some organs back here one night, man.
Some what?
Organs? There was organs back in the back of the cemetery. It looked like organs. It was a pile of organs or something. Same place where the hooded figure was. That's where we're about to go. Right up here, man. Right up here.
Where's it at?
Right in there behind those bushes, man. They were standing right in the middle back there. Oh. Whew. Thermal.
Yeah, dude, some of these are really hot. Some are showing hot, some are not. But then look at out there. You know what I mean? You see a whole bunch.
Yeah, check out how old some of these stones are. Some of them you can't even read no more. 1899. The organs were right back here. Shh. Did you hear something moving? That path, if those people are coming, comes right down back through there.
Keep going.
Well, hold on, dude. I thought I'd just seen a light down on the path. I'm telling you, I feel like
I'm being watched.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody right down here, man.
Surrounded by tombstones dating back to the late 1800s, the sense of being observed intensified. A distant light and unexplained noises from the forest increased the tension, making the location feel threatening rather than deserted. Eventually, they chose to return to their truck. As they walked back, the same car reappeared, slowly trailing behind them.
There's a light back in the forest. Car.
Creepy slow.
Super duper creepy slow. What are they doing? That's that same people creeping. I told you, man. Something ain't right about these people.
How can we go back to the truck?
Yeah. My camera's not focusing. What is that? You
What?
see that? Is that something on my... Is that the ball cap on my... No, there's something on my truck, man. Hold on. Let me get these doors unlocked. Man, that is freaking creepy. Hey, hurry up, B. Look. Hurry up. Just grab that. Get in. So, it had this belt. Look at this freaking baby, though. Look at that.
Upon reaching their vehicle, they discovered something disturbing. Placed on it, a small baby doll secured with a belt. Its eyes altered in color and its hands taped. The object seemed intentional, almost like a warning. They left the forest immediately physically unharmed, but deeply shaken, convinced they had been followed and deliberately intimidated. In the end, human behavior felt more disturbing than any ghost story, and they knew they would never return. If you were there alone in the dark and confronted with something like that, what would you have done? The next unsettling clip comes from Rob Outdoor, a UK solo camping and van life channel focused on realistic overnight stays in remote or unusual spots. The content highlights unscripted moments, often revealing how fast tension and risk can build during stealth camping. The footage was filmed on July 13, 2024, at a rural woodland car park in the United Kingdom. As evening approaches, Rob drives down a rough, uneven road into a small forest parking area. Almost immediately, he senses something isn't right. Several vehicles are already there, many with lone men sitting inside.
Seen single male occupants. At least 2 vehicles with single male occupants. I'll show you at some point later on how bad the road is on the way in here. And you can't tell me people want to drive down this car park just to walk their dogs into stealth mode. So that car there, single male occupant. Car next to it, guy just walking his dog, and the car next to that, single male occupant. What are people doing here? What do people, if they're not, I mean, what am I doing here, to be honest? What am I doing here? Oh God.
The number of cars, along with the way they're spaced out, feels unusual for such a quiet countryside location at that hour. After parking, Rob switches into stealth mode and reflects on how unlikely it seems that so many people would gather there just to walk dogs or enjoy a casual evening. Despite the unease building, he chooses to remain and begins preparing dinner inside the van, hoping the atmosphere will settle as night falls.
Got a little treat for pudding, some ice cream, chicken tikka masala, pakoras, naan bread. Yes, I spilt some. Bit more naan bread cooking in there. And a beer. This place is weird. Bloke in the van's just pulled up. He was parked there. He was parked there. He walked down there. See him? So that bloke walked down there and then walked behind my van where I was cleaning my stuff. Look at that bloke there, look. Trying to look in the back of my van.
While organizing equipment at the back of the van, Rob notices a man walking closely behind him. The individual pauses and tries to look inside through the rear doors, lingering long enough to create discomfort. The same man then approaches and starts an awkward exchange.
Yeah, just going a bit of dinner, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. How about yourself, you alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. Much about?
Not today, actually.
No.
Saw a couple, but always see some down to us relative.
Yeah. No, it's nice to do, isn't it? It's nice to get away, isn't it? Yeah. I've just had a curry and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but not so much anymore.
Yeah. It's clearing up this stuff.
It is, it's a bloody... Yeah. Wasn't not ideal, to be honest. Alright mate, no worries.
Well, have my dinner.
Have a nice evening.
And you.
Cheers, ta-ra. You can't tell me that's not weird. Just hovering down here. He was hovering down here. This is where the other guy come. Now when I was trying to show you, when I was in the back of the van, he was hovering here trying to look inside my van. But he said he'd just been deer hunting. Alright mate, that's what you call it.
His explanation for being there feels vague and unconvincing. Although the interaction stays calm, the timing and lack of clarity deepen Rob's concern. After the man walks away, the sensation of being observed doesn't fade.
Current situation is, that thing there is just pulled in. That Golf has been there since we turned up, and there's that camper van just turned up as well. That Golf, a man still sat in the driver's seat, got his lights on, and he's been here for ages, just sat there. So this is a situation earlier on. Back door open. So you can't exactly go through there. Two blokes come through, walking through here. They were hovering here, stood in this little area, trying to peer into the van. He was down here earlier on. Look what's back, people. Look what's back.
More vehicles continue arriving and shifting positions. One van appears to leave and return multiple times, while others idle with engines running and lights on. People remain in the same spots, repeatedly making it difficult for Rob to feel unnoticed or relaxed inside his vehicle. Just as he prepares to sleep, the situation intensifies.
5 minutes ago, 2 cars have been round, papping their horns. The motorhome that was here, he's bottled it and he's gone. It's now 11:30, and I'm not in the same car park. I've moved on. Just getting into bed, just like as I said, a couple of cars turned up. One held its horn on in the main car park for ages, and then he pulled next to the other camper van that was there, held its horn on for ages, and then pulled up next to me, held its horn on for ages, and then as it went to move out the car park, another car pulled in. So at that point I thought, I'm getting out of here.
Several vehicles begin honking their horns nearby, holding them down for long stretches. One pulls alongside his van and continues blaring the horn with laughter coming from inside. At that point, the behavior no longer feels accidental, it feels deliberate. Late that night, Rob decides to leave and relocate to another area to rest. The next morning, he reflects that while nothing directly harmful occurred, the persistent attention-repeated vehicle movements and intentional noise created an atmosphere that felt increasingly unsafe. He explains that staying likely would have meant no rest and rising anxiety, and by trusting his instincts, he believes leaving was the correct decision. Experiences like this raise questions about whether the behavior was coincidence, intimidation, or something intentional. In places meant to feel isolated and peaceful, how do you know when it's time to listen to your instincts and drive away? Deep in the forest, where the trails tighten and the silence feels heavier than usual, there are moments that seem slightly off. No birds singing, no wind moving the trees. Just the steady crunch of tires against dirt and that quiet sense that someone or something might be close. Felmel Malaza has spent years riding through places like this. His channel features solo biking trips, rough backcountry trails, and the occasional risky situation. But on this particular ride, what he came across wasn't wildlife or a fallen tree blocking the path. It was something far more unexpected and not easy to forget. As he pedaled ahead, his GoPro briefly captured what he first thought was an animal. Possibly a deer. But as the image sharpened, the reality became clear. It wasn't a wild creature, it was a very human encounter. A couple stood directly on the trail, caught off guard mid-moment, completely exposed. For a split second, everyone locked eyes. Then panic. The couple rushed to gather themselves while Felmel quickly steered aside, acting as if he hadn't seen anything. Ever the gentleman. He rang his bell again twice and continued riding. Out in remote woods, people often fear shadows or strange legends. But sometimes the most unexpected discovery is another person. On isolated trails, some behave as if no one will ever pass by until someone does. Maybe it was the excitement, or maybe They simply chose the wrong trail. So here's the question. Have you ever taken a risk like that far out in nature, knowing anyone could appear at any moment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. He and Graham had spent years traveling around the UK in their camper van, always with their 3 dogs beside them. Living on the road had become second nature. Quiet evenings, scenic pull-offs, and simple routines that brought comfort. But on this particular night, something happened that forced them to reconsider whether van life was truly worth it.
Which we don't really like to do, but we had no choice. The traffic was awful and the rain was awful, and we just got there a bit late. So we took the doggies for a walk, had something to eat after that, and settled in for the night. We watched I'm a Celebrity, didn't we?
Had a bit of a laugh,
yeah. It was quite a fun thing to do, wasn't it? And
a couple of cars came and went during the evening, but no trouble was there. They just came and went after about an hour. And another motorhome turned up, didn't it?
Yeah.
And parked away from us, the other side of the car park really, but it's only a fairly...
After a long day of driving, they found a small tucked-away car park where they planned to stay overnight. They walked the dogs' prepared dinner and settled in to unwind. The evening felt ordinary. A few cars entered and left, and another motorhome parked across the lot. Nothing seemed out of place. The atmosphere felt peaceful and secure. By 11 p.m., they were sound asleep. Then, around 1 a.m., a massive crash jolted them awake.
You dropped something on the floor there. Or was that glass? 2 bricks. And someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while we were sleeping. So no, we don't recommend this as a place to stop. They smashed the windscreen, but Graham's hoping he can drive with that. But here's us in the middle of nowhere, with a broken window and a cracked windscreen, 200 miles from home. So, pretty awful really. Just don't know what to do. I'm still in shock, literally. We heard this really loud boom, 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 boom music, because we think it was just boy racers. And suddenly the music went quiet, and it was just loud bang, and Graham reckons there was 2 of them.
The van shook violently from the impact. Still groggy and confused, they scrambled to understand what had happened, only to discover that the passenger window had been completely shattered and the windshield was cracked. 2 heavy bricks lay nearby, clear evidence that it was deliberate. Rain poured inside as broken glass scattered across the van's interior. They quickly realized they were stranded 200 miles from home, isolated in the middle of nowhere.
God knows how.
trying to stop it getting any worse.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought a branch had fallen off a tree onto Merlin, but then I thought, well, hang on, we're not under a tree. So that's when we found out what had really happened.
Working fast, they tried to cover the shattered window using whatever supplies they had, taping plastic over the opening to create a temporary barrier. It wasn't a perfect fix, but it was enough to make driving possible. Slowly, they headed toward the nearest service station. There, a helpful employee assisted them in reinforcing the makeshift repair so they could continue the long journey home.
So we seem to be stopping at every service area. The repair's holding up okay-ish. I've just stuck it down again. Unfortunately, the old McDonald's tape isn't quite as strong as Gorilla tape, so where the wind's blowing on the leading edge, sort of here, outside here, because this glass is okay, that's the bit that's really vulnerable. It was folding back.
Even with the practical problem addressed, they remained shaken, trying to process not only the damage but the fear and confusion behind why it had happened. They couldn't help but question whether it was random vandalism or if they had been intentionally targeted. Either way, the sense of safety they once felt while traveling was gone. Incidents like this may be uncommon, but they highlight how exposed travelers can be in isolated areas. Whether it was reckless behavior or a random act, the emotional impact often lasts far longer than the physical damage. Would one night like that be enough to make you walk away from van life, or would you treat it as a single bad experience and keep moving forward? Wade is an Australian survival content creator, known for taking on intense outdoor challenges, like spending days on isolated islands with only his gear and whatever he can catch for food. His videos focus on raw adventure, and this time he's attempting a new challenge to celebrate his friend's birthday. The concept is straightforward but harsh. Whatever each person catches that day becomes the other's dinner.
On this island, you know, I'm back in Australia, baby. Yeah! And I'm out here with one of my best friends. Come introduce yourself, mate.
Hello, brother.
We got Indy right here, and it just so happens, guys, that it's his birthday today. We got one of the craziest challenges ever going down. So this is how it's gonna work, brother. Whatever you catch today is what's gonna be my dinner, and whatever I catch for you is gonna be your dinner.
We're on. I'm gonna stitch him up.
But guys, there's a little bit of a twist. You don't have to pick the best fish you catch for the person. So you can catch something good and be like, nah, you're not eating that one, and catch something absolute rubbish and give him some like puffer fish or something. Just don't kill me or poison me,
It's not
please.
Wadey's birthday, so I don't have to look after him. I can give him whatever I want.
There's one twist: you don't have to offer your best fish. You can hand over anything you reel in, even the worst catch. A bit of playful mischief is part of the experience. With the rules established, Wade and his friend head out by boat into open water.
Hey! Hey! I just got eaten by a shark, bro. Like proper. Bad, bro. Real bad. That was crazy. That's the closest I've ever been to being eaten by a shark. Attack my fins. My bite marks on my fins. Oh my goodness. And they'll follow me all the way to the boat. Thank the Lord, I've just got freaking legs. I need a moment, guys. That was actually really scary. I don't know how I feel right now, eh? I just made one of the biggest mistakes ever that literally could have cost me my life out here. You guys saw I just got attacked by a shark. It literally just bit my fin. We're probably a good 2 hours run, guys, back to where we need to get to. If that shark bit me on my leg or a little bit higher up, I would have been completely dead. I made one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in spearfishing. You guys saw I had a coral trout in my hand and I shot another fish. I was like right near the boat and I was like, I'll just shoot this fish and then I'll have 2 fish I can throw in the boat. And when I shot that second fish, all the sharks came in. You guys saw they were all around me. And he must have thought that like, because I was holding a fish also and I'd shot a fish, I didn't have a gun to protect me. I had a fish in my hand and they were coming straight after me. And that's why they bit me. Right now, man, I'm just so lucky to be alive. I got so much adrenaline through my body, I can't even speak. But just goes to show you gotta be so careful out here.
The setting is breathtaking. Clear blue seas, calm skies, the kind of place most people only imagine visiting. But below the surface, real danger waits. While spearfishing near a reef, Wade has a dangerously close encounter with a shark, closer than he anticipated. Within seconds, one shark lunges at his fins, teeth marks are left behind, and the predator follows him back toward the boat. Shaken but unharmed, Wade thinks through what went wrong. He had been gripping one fish while aiming at another, distracted, and without a spear ready as sharks approached. With blood in the water and no immediate defense, he became a target. If the bite had landed slightly higher, it could have been fatal. With adrenaline still surging, Wade recognizes how narrowly he avoided a deadly error. The waters may look peaceful, but they demand respect. Spearfishing in shark territory requires constant awareness. Carrying injured fish can provoke aggression even from typically calm sharks. Wade's experience shows how a split-second choice underwater can mean the difference between survival and tragedy. Would you still dive in after seeing that? Or would one close call with a shark be enough to keep you on shore?
That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.